Hello, you're listening to Reviewing History, your comedy history podcast. I'm filmmaker and teacher Brian Rupert, joined here by...
as always, Steven Dagliacco.
And...
Hi, I'm Ant G.
How we doing?
Also, we're not just listening.
No, we are now on the YouTube.
We're still, we got a watching now.
I've heard,
Viewing history.
Yeah.
Reviewing history.
They're
It's
doing
us.
it with us. We're
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
We're all in this together, gang.
Traveling through time and space together.
Visually.
Visually stimulating you.
And audibly.
And audibly, yeah. We hit all your senses.
Very exciting stuff.
Sit on the speaker.
Oh, God. What do you think of that movie?
I love that movie. I want to do it on this.
Private Parts.
Yeah, I want to do Private
Would that
Parts.
count?
I guess it would, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of a weird true story. I guess, yeah.
Is
It's a
it-
biopic.
Yeah,
of course.
it's
We've done it
history.
before.
Yeah, and we'll do it again.
You're damn right.
But we're not doing a biopic today.
Yeah.
No.
We're doing
Ancient literature.
ancient literature. Little
Yes.
Iliad.
Sing
Troy.
goddess the rage of Achilles.
Troy.
Troy.
This is some lofty shit. This is the foundation of the West right here.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Is this one of the most important events in human history?
Events? No. Pieces of literature? Yes.
Okay.
Who cares
Wow.
about the events?
Okay.
You
You know?
would say this is more important than, let's say, like the Bible when it comes to affecting history?
well, I didn't say
More
the
important?
most.
It's
Well, the most.
this is foundational stuff. Like when people talk about the classics, this is it. This
Okay.
is the classics. Doesn't get more classic, right? This is the basis of Western education for centuries until we decide to just throw it all away.
We're going back far.
going back real far.
Furthest we've ever gone.
Furthest we've ever gone. Hard pressed to go further.
Yeah.
They need a movie about like the mutant fish thing that crawled out of like the ooze, like flopping around like, oh, like
fish
movie,
frog.
The movie is just like grunting
Flopping
and
around.
flopping,
Kill me.
grunting and flopping. The movie. That's also me when I get up for morning in the for work.
You made me think of 2001 with the monkeys,
Bum,
the
bum,
apes.
bum, bum,
yeah.
bum, bum.
That's the best part of that movie.
For a split second,
The
I thought you
beginning?
meant like 2001: A Space Odyssey.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
talking
that's what he's talking about.
Oh, okay.
You ever see it?
Because I wasn't sure if it was that or like a Planet of the Apes that I missed from the year 2001.
I think that's when the Marky Mark one
I know,
came
that's
out.
why I got confused.
Have you seen 2001: A Space
A
Odyssey?
long time ago.
The
long time ago.
the ape stuff in the beginning is by far the best part of the movie, and I actually kind of think the movie goes to shit after that.
The movie's not that good.
It's not. It's so overrated.
I'm not the biggest fan of it.
Right.
And I like Kubrick. I don't love him and like worship him like others, but it is what it
But that
is.
stuff's good.
But we're not
monkey
talking
shit.
about a Kubrick masterpiece today.
Oh,
No,
we're talking
not
about the guy
today.
who did Das Boot.
Yes, Wolfgang Peterson,
Yeah.
2004 Troy.
Yeah.
Did you see it in theaters?
I did.
Yeah?
And I thought it was very good back then.
Okay.
I don't know why, but in my head, this movie was always like, I like it, but it's a mediocrity.
That's weird.
But on this last viewing, I really liked it. I was like, this is fucking great. Why don't I respect this?
During your review, you were like, wow.
That's right.
You know what I think happened? It aged like a fine wine because you were so inundated with all this like sword and sandal shit in the early 2000s. This is Gladiator's
maybe.
Child.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And like it's clear.
Mm-hmm.
So like you didn't appreciate how good it was seeing shit like this.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
You're
know?
spoiled in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were a lot of things like this coming out around then, like Kingdom of Heaven, Master and Commander, the
Gladiator.
But not so much.
Alexander.
Alexander is the big one. Yeah.
Not. There was none that had as hot of a guy.
This is a
As
stud
Brad
fest.
Pitt in
It's
this.
all just hot guys
Goddamn.
being hot.
God damn.
That was the alternative name for the title, and then me and Ant looked in the mirror and we were like, well, there goes that.
Man, my AKA is Brad Pitt's naked body because it's all over this movie.
Yeah.
All over.
It is so sexy.
And we all enjoyed it. We all enjoyed it.
Did this movie make you feel bad about yourself at all?
Yeah, on some level, but on some other level, maybe it's a little inspiring. To, get your shit together.
Yeah. I just kept looking at Diane Kruger and I was like, I will never have tits that look as good as
Right.
that.
It's funny because we're talking about Helen of Troy.
Yes.
The face that launched 1,000 ships. the most beautiful woman to ever live
On Earth.
and yet Brad Pitt. Yeah, this is fucking the dim and distant past.
And it's the second movie in a row, by the way, with Diane Kruger.
That's Helen?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's Helena Troy. She was in Joyeux Noel.
Oh my
Which we did for
God.
Christmas.
Your pronunciation.
Joyeux Noel. That's right. She
Yep.
was the
Yeah.
singer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have picked up on that.
And still just as beautiful
She's gorgeous.
yeah.
in both.
Yeah.
So, Troy, what can you give us about the background of this history? Where are we?
This is all background.
Okay.
This is the definitive background.
I actually thinking about this because we're talking about something that is all right. So it's the Iliad, right?
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. Homer.
All right, I wanted to ask you this because I'm going to cut you off real quick.
Cut me off.
We don't know how much of this is true and how much of this is fictional
Okay.
from Homer,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Somewhat.
There's a lot.
Yes, that's an accurate statement.
So
I'd say.
I feel almost unqualified to talk about this because one, I've never read the Iliad.
Okay.
Have you guys?
Bits and pieces.
I mean,
of
I'm
that.
familiar with the
Yeah.
work.
Yeah,
I've seen
exactly.
adaptations of it a million
I'm
times.
familiar with the Odyssey,
Exactly.
which is also part of this.
We've all listened to Symphony
Also-
X.
Yes. There's also the Aeneid. If you guys don't know about that, we'll get into that later. For most of human civilization, people thought this was a complete work of fiction, that it did not happen.
Yep.
And it is not until the late 1800s that archaeologists kind of confirmed that it is at least based on some real event.
Something happened.
The Iliad...
Like they found Troy.
Right. The Iliad was written roughly 800 years after the events of the book, of the poem. So if you can think about that for a second, the guy writing this is talking about a time that if we were to compare it to our own time is like Genghis Khan,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know?
And it's been handed down so long.
Right. This is also coming out of a Greek Dark Age or a European Dark Age. And what I mean by that is the Bronze Age collapse. So this is
When
depicting...
the Bronze Age collapse, whenever it happens, it's not good.
No.
Like in the 90s.
You know about the Bronze Age collapse.
I know all about it. So Marvel and DC in the 90s.
Say in the 90s?
In the 90s, 1990s, they were pumping out so many books for the speculative market.
People thought they were going to be worth
People
a lot of money.
thought they were going to be rich because word got out that all these comic books had value. Not
Action
realizing
Comics #1 sold for
Action
a lot.
Comics sold for like $1 million. Everyone was hearing about the first Spider-Man appears, all these books being worth big money. So they were like, "Oh, we got to buy all these books, and one day our kids will be able to retire." So Marvel and DC start printing all these books with foil covers, all this shit, and they just mass produced everything. Like one of the books had a $1 million print run.
Wow,
And
that's a lot.
eventually in the Bronze Age, they all went bankrupt and the Bronze Age collapsed.
Makes
and it
sense.
almost killed the comic industry. Marvel filed for
Wow.
bankruptcy.
Wow.
Bad times.
Do you know in the 90s, like BC, they were printing on a lot of papyrus, thinking it would be worth a lot. Thousands of sheets of papyrus. And it turns out it almost bankrupt the entire civilization.
That's not what I'm talking about.
No.
No. The Bronze Age collapse. This is when the world was destroyed by pirates.
Pirates?
Yes.
Blackbeard? Or
No,
like...
not those pirates.
well, Bronze Age, yeah. Wouldn't bother
So,
with
if the time period we're talking about, roughly like the 12th, 13th centuries BC,
that. A long time
very,
ago.
very long time ago, most of humanity that is of any merit, that has any kind of civilization, that isn't just naked men screaming at each other in the wilderness, that have towns and cities and things like that, live in the relative area of the Eastern Mediterranean. So we're talking like the Middle East, Egypt, Greece, Anatolia.
The Nile, right? It wasn't
Assyria.
that the cradle of life.
Cradle of civilization, the Tigris and Euphrates
Yes.
rivers. Yeah.
Yeah.
All that's in play here. Something happened right around the time of the events of this took place, right after, where thousands and thousands of seafaring peoples came out of the Western Mediterranean and sacked every single city around the Mediterranean world.
So they came from the West.
They came from the West. They are known as the Sea Peoples.
Atlanteans?
No one knows where they came from.
No, Atlanteans was earlier.
The best theory we have is that a volcano, probably in Iceland, went off and changed the climate of the Earth. this sent the peoples of Northern Europe, like Viking tribesmen,
The actual Vikings.
in their zero form.
We got to get the fuck
They had
out
to
of
go
here.
south, and literally massive migration started to happen, and they just started tearing down all of civilization. This killed the Hittites, it killed the Assyrians, it killed the Minoan Greeks, it killed everybody except the Egyptians. Egypt managed to lure the bulk of this fleet down the Nile and face them in a giant battle and actually won.
Really?
Yes. But the devastation was so complete around the rest of the Mediterranean that it started a dark age. And
Because
it
no
is-
one can share technology or prosper.
And they just killed everyone. It took a couple hundred years before society started to rebuild itself. And that is where we get Homer. And
Oh!
the lack of writing and communication of this time led
Yeah, he only says dough.
led to depictions of this period as being a time when like the gods walked among men and stuff like that, and it became very magical. If you look at the Iliad, unlike Troy, it is full of intervention from the gods. They fight,
Yup.
they walk around, they do things.
Shit happens because of them.
Troy, on the other hand, is like, we're doing a more grounded, real version of this.
Of what probably happened.
Who
or,
knows? Who
you
the
know,
fuck knows?
They're
Some
taking their
event.
best guess.
Some event.
They're adapting a work of epic poetry.
Yeah.
This guy, the director, he
Wolfgang.
Yeah,
What an awesome name, right?
very German.
Wolfgang?
He did Air Force One too.
He did.
Yeah.
Get off my plane.
Yeah. You like him?
He's a pretty good director.
And I believe one of the writers on this is one of the Game of Thrones.
Yes. Benahoff, I believe.
guys. Yeah.
One of everyone's favorite writers. Mainly for the last season of Game of
Oh
Thrones.
yes, he really
definitely
hit it
my
out of the
favorite.
park there.
Everyone forgets that they loved 7 seasons. You fuck up one time, and
I guess he's good at adapting things
that's his strength, I think.
because I really like this.
Yeah.
What did you think of this?
This movie, did not see it for a long time.
Did you see?
Did you guys see it?
I didn't see it in theaters, but I saw it shortly after. And from what I remember,
He wore out the VHS rewinding it to Brad Pitt.
I remember loving the Brad Pitt scenes. No, I remember
Orlando
enjoying
Bloom's
it,
boyish charm.
but I don't remember the intricacies of it. It was so long ago. So rewatching it, I was like, okay, I remember this now, and goddamn, I was more impressed now than I was back then.
Me too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really holds up.
Brian?
I saw this in theaters. I really liked it then because I was into all the sword and sandal badass shit. I really like it now. I think I like it more now because I have a better understanding of context and things like
Yeah.
that. But it's a really good movie. It's well made. It's fun. You know, I it's great.
Yeah, this is a good movie.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's not more beloved.
Timing.
Yeah?
Yeah, timing. Like you said, it's coming off Gladiator.
Gladiator, Master and Commander,
Yeah,
Alexander.
It's coming off of the biggest
I think like
things.
all other than Gladiator, most of those movies are generally like not well received, you know? They're all like mediocre.
You also have
I
The
feel like it's
Matrix.
people like they were trying to do Gladiator and then didn't.
A lot of sci-fi too was coming out around that time.
But I happen to like all those movies.
I like all
I
of
think
them.
Master and Commander is
me too.
brilliant. You know?
It's awesome.
We're gonna get there eventually. I assume.
Yeah. But this one's like, I always considered this to be a cut above the rest of them.
You've always put this in top
Oh,
tier.
really?
This was good. This was fucking good.
Okay.
And it's fun to watch. It's really fun to watch.
So I've always been into Greek myths.
Oh yeah.
Like as a kid, because my mother was an English teacher, so she had like all these Greek mythology books that she would do with our class, and
Sure.
like she would tell me all the stories about them, and I was always fascinated by them. So
Yeah.
like I knew all about Achilles and Adonis and Persephone and all that shit. I loved it.
I think as a
Ajax.
kid, you're just generally guided towards that.
Yeah.
Like you start learning about it, you're like, this is cool.
I remember reading about Perseus and the fucking Medusa and stuff when I was a kid and just being like, this is the coolest shit ever.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
He's killing the Gorgons.
Yeah.
So I guess as an adult, you get to see a story like that and possibly how it really unfolded and all this other stuff. And it's like, oh, this is where it comes from. This is a real myth you're watching.
Yeah.
And I think that adds the allure to it. You know.
But that being said, it's almost like this is so wrapped up in myth that we are almost stretching the boundaries of this program.
That's what my thing was. I was like, should we have done this? Is this like doing Robin Hood?
Is it like doing Robin Hood? I don't know.
You know? Mm-hmm. Like, how much of this do we know is true?
The archaeologists tell us there was a Troy and it was destroyed.
Do you know where it was? I looked it up.
Yes, I do.
Where was it?
It is in Western Anatolia. It is on. So here's the story. There was a guy, Heinrich Schliemann.
That's a name.
He is a German archaeologist and enthusiast of.
This belongs
Greek
in a
mythology.
museum.
Yes.
Did he do the Heimlich maneuver?
He knew a guy named Frank Calvert. Frank Calvert was an English diplomat in the Ottoman Empire. This is roughly the 1870s, 1880s.
Okay.
It was Braveheart I was thinking about. We were going by a poem.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Frank Calvert owns this piece of land in Western Anatolia, modern-day Turkey. There's a mound on his property.
Okay.
And this guy kept showing up doing sermons there.
That's a mount.
Well, this wasn't Jesus.
It's just a guy.
Yeah, this is the guy. He's just showing up.
So this German guy, Schliemann, comes and he's like, I think this is where Troy was. So he starts digging. And to his surprise and luck, he uncovers a city that has clearly been occupied and rebuilt for over a period of 3,000 years.
Like, he found cities on top of cities.
Cities on top of cities, rebuilt on top of each other. He digs so deep, he uncovers 9 different distinct cities.
Do you know what he found on the bottom?
What did he find?
He found Jefferson Starship, and they were saying, we built this city. And they were talking about how they built all the cities.
Keep building this city.
On rock and roll.
Yes.
Because it definitely rocks.
You look pained, Steve.
Definitely rocks. Because I didn't know where you were going. 9 cities on top.
9 cities all built on top of each other.
And aged back to about 3,000 years from
Well, it had been
time.
occupied for about 3,000 years.
occupied. So it might be older than that, but there's definitely
So,
that date.
He dug as far deep as he could and decided that the bottom one, this must be Troy. And he found some like shit, some like diamonds or something.
They found jewels.
Jewels.
Jewels, Betty.
He put them on his wife, and he was like, "This is Priam's treasure. I am the greatest archaeologist of all time. Troy is real. The Iliad is real. I did this." Now,
Bold claim.
Yeah, he died under dubious circumstances, and people didn't really buy what he was selling. But it was further investigated by more archaeologists, another German guy, and some Americans. And they started to focus more on the layers above where he digs. So it turns out, so the guy who excavated, he labeled them Troy 1 through 9, right?
Yep.
Okay.
9 being at the bottom.
Yeah.
Around Troy 7, which is 2 up.
They had planned 9 parts to the movie, but they never got there.
Troy 7, they found the citadel. That is like where the palace was.
Right.
And there was evidence that there had been an earthquake. And that was, rumors started to happen that, maybe the Iliad is actually a metaphor for this earthquake.
Yes.
But then when they excavated Troy 6, which is above that,
Yeah.
they found very, very obvious signs that the city had been destroyed in fierce battle and war.
Like,
They found amphorae, which are the Greek pots
Right.
that they use for storage, filled with grain that had been buried for storage.
Any, like,
evidence
art?
of siege. Yes, art.
Art,
There was arrowheads, weapons, dead bodies, evidence of fire.
definitely
Like that,
pointing
yeah.
to a siege.
And then
of a
they,
city.
and then they, as they expanded from that, they found like the town itself. Like they were in the palace, and as they moved out, they found more and more stuff. And
Wow.
it's like, okay, this is
That's
Troy.
Troy,
We found
yeah.
it. This is it.
So that's a real, and it makes a little
yeah.
bit more sense because when you think about the stories, like you said, the Troy story was a little more based in reality as opposed to the myths.
Troy story. That was when ancient Greek Woody and Buzz were all oiled up and they were trying to get home to Andy. Troy story.
Yes. Buzzicles.
What a kiss.
Slinky Doggus.
They hide in the dinosaur and then wheel them in.
Bopepius.
Pee-pee.
We're doing Roman names. Yeah. So that's the archaeological version of this. There's also evidence corroborating it from the Hittites. Like they've uncovered stuff. The Hittites are like the main power in this part of the world at the time. You have the Greeks, and then in Anatolia, modern day Turkey, is the Hittite Empire, and they're like rivals.
Troy is close to Turkey. It would be modern day Turkey.
Yeah. Troy was. They believe it was like a conquered city-state that the Hittites had taken, and at one point in the past rebelled against the Hittites, and the Greeks actually backed them up.
Yes.
This, corroborated like with Greek sources and Hittite sources. They put them together and they realized, it should be right here. This is definitely it, and it's real. So there was a war.
It's real.
Yes.
All of it.
I don't know about all of it.
There definitely was a city.
There was a city and it was destroyed.
Yeah, there was reason for that war.
Isn't it crazy to think, though, that like cities getting built on top of other cities and them finding the ruins?
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
Well, that's the old world. It really hasn't happened so much in this part of the world, except for like in Mexico and things like that. Like they'll dig up like sewers or subway systems in Mexico City and uncover like temples.
It happens a lot more than you think.
Oh, I'm just saying, not in
even
like
in
the
the
United States. It has not happened here, really,
because there weren't structures.
Right.
They weren't nomadic people.
Yeah,
right. We were not that old.
Right.
Like you've been to fucking Notre Dame.
Yes.
When we were in Paris, and it's like you're standing in a building that's almost 800 years older than your entire country.
Yeah.
Think about
wild,
that.
And it's beautiful.
Right. Let's start the movie.
It's movie time.
Of course.
All right.
Opens with ancient chanting, which I love any form of ancient chanting. I don't know why.
Gregorian chants do it for you?
I love it. Yes. The Middle Eastern style, the Gregorian, the anything nomadic chanting, I love. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but
it's nice. I wouldn't say I love it, but I think it sets the mood for these movies. You know, it's very so much of this movie is Gladiator. And I also wanted to talk a little bit real quick before we dive into the movie. The movie is so 2004.
It is.
It is like,
and I can't put my finger on why it is.
And I'll tell you why. Ready?
Tell me.
Okay. The movie is drawing Bush parallels at times.
Is it?
Yes. Agamemnon.
Agamemnon.
By the way, I will tell you, I have been trying to pronounce his name.
Agamemnon.
I can't do it. I'm calling him Aggie.
Aggie?
Good
old Aggie?
I've been trying for a week since I watched it.
Who's the better Agamemnon? Is it Sean Connery or Brian Cox?
Well, I gotta go Sean Connery, obviously. It's so much of this is about like the soldiers are really matter. Or who really matters, the troops, the people telling you to fight. It's so 2004 where it's like the military and the government is bad for making you fight, but the soldiers and troops are noble. Support our troops. It's very 2000.
History remembers kings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's very 2000.
And he's the bad guy.
Exactly. Yeah. It's very 2004 in that regard. That's number one. The aesthetic of it obviously is very 2000s Gladiator, but also it's so atheist, strong, like nihilistic, late 90s, early 2000s, new metal, God isn't real.
It's anti the gods.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's so angsty
which is
in that regard.
That is so not in the spirit with the source material, obviously.
Yeah.
But it still makes for a fun movie.
Yeah.
There
a lot of, I'll say this, when you take the gods out of it, a lot of the motivations for some of the characters don't make a whole lot of sense. Like Achilles, why is he even that important without the gods?
He's just that good.
He's just a guy who fights really good. He's one man. It's not a big deal, But when you look at it with the context and everything, it's fun. It's heroes fighting each other because that's what the Iliad is really. It's heroes going
clashing.
Right. I also like in this movie, there's not really a bad guy. Everybody's kind of on the same level. Even him, he's not.
You kind of don't know who to.
He's a power grabbing guy who is using.
He's opportunistic.
He's opportunistic, and he's using this as an excuse to gain power. But that's why the movie is so 2004 and what I wanted to say.
He is the one guy who's kind of morally
He's the villain.
worse than everyone else.
Yes.
But at the same time, gives them
Even
a chance
Paris.
to just acclimate and become part of the empire without vielse. Like he
Yeah,
offers
he's
that.
not unreasonable.
Yeah,
he's not a
offers.
tyrant.
Yeah, he just wants to.
Well, he wants to gain power.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
For power's sake.
He's a power-driven man.
Yeah.
Right.
You
So
know?
he's definitely the villain, if we want to call it that.
But is Achilles all that much the hero?
Achilles isn't the hero in this. No,
Right.
No,
the
Hector's
most
the
respectable
hero.
guy is Hector.
Hector is the hero,
Right.
yeah.
And Priam. Paris he's almost redeemed at the end, sort of.
Yeah, he's,
Even though
but also even
he's
Achilles,
hateable.
even Achilles is somewhat redeemed at the end too. So
Yes.
there's a parallel between
Look,
a
like
lot of
I
the
said,
characters, which is cool.
The king is bad, the government is bad, the soldiers are all good and noble
Oh
at
yeah,
their
you nailed
hearts.
it.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what they're saying. Support our troops, put your yellow ribbon on your
Yeah,
tree.
the old oak tree.
Yeah.
Very good.
yeah.
So, there's an uneasy alliance between Troy and Sparta, we find out.
Is that the first scene?
Yeah.
They talk about it. They give like a preamble about the history, and they mention it. There's voiceover on a battlefield, and there's going to be a one-on-one fight.
Yeah, 1v1 me.
1v1.
Well, the two armies meet and they say instead of having this bloodshed, you pick your best guy, I'll pick my best guy. They'll
Yeah.
fight. Whoever wins will decide the winner of the battle. I think that's a really cool
And
little
this-
thing.
I guess it's better than thousands of guys getting slaughtered, right?
Agreed,
I mean,
yeah.
it's more ideal, but also as a nation, you're really
So-
putting your
Yeah.
hopes in one guy.
They call the biggest guy. You see this gigantic dude. I think he was wearing a collar, which was a
He's-
little
he's a
uncomfortable.
giant.
He's definitely got a little BDSM style going on. You know what I mean? Like he's in leather.
He's Goliath,
He's Goliath.
So the little kid runs to get Achilles.
who's banging two chicks at once.
Yeah, he's just fucking so much.
Swinging it. He swings.
They
it.
want you to know right away what this movie's about.
Yes.
Brad Pitt is hot.
Look at his nude body, sculpted like a god.
Yeah.
And, the kid comes over. He's like, I wouldn't want to fight him. And Brad Pitt just goes, that's why no one will remember your name.
Punk this little kid.
I'm going to own him so bad. That little kid is going to think about that the rest of his
Yeah,
life.
like, wow, Achilles really fucking put me in my place.
I'm such a bitch.
Do you think that kid grew up to be a warrior just because of that?
That was
You
young.
have to, right?
That was Leonidas.
Can we talk about the stakes here for a minute?
Yes.
So,
They were medium
It's-
rare.
Jesus Christ with the puns. This is not like he's uniting an empire, He's beating these kingdoms in battle. They're not even kingdoms, they're city-states. It's the Greek city-states, right? Every town is its own.
They all have they're independent
Governments,
countries
yeah.
that can kind of come together if
they
needed.
have kings. But he's getting the kings to pledge his dominion over them. He's he beats their army or he beats their best fighter, and then they go, okay, when you need us, we will come to your aid. We are now your vassal. So it's not like he's stomping out, the different kingdoms and putting them under his rule. He's a king of kings.
Yeah, I'm the main guy, and you guys have your own territory. But if I need you for something,
You owe allegiance to
yes,
I'm
you come.
assuming he's also taking some form of tax. And, whatever it may be.
He's wetting his beak.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Brad Pitt kills the big guy really easily. He does a jumping
Does the
cut.
sick jump move.
It was in
jump.
every trailer.
Yes.
Sick jump move.
Which, when you see it as a kid, it is the coolest thing you've ever seen.
Definitely.
He jumps up, one shot to the neck, and is like, what?
Keeps walking. He's like, that was way too easy.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there like, that
No
was
one
too
else.
easy. Yeah. So no one else.
Yes.
And then you realize, oh, wait, he's not that friendly to the king. Because he walks back and he doesn't seem happy to be doing this.
Well, that's your gladiator scene.
Yeah.
That's
Are you
your.
not
Are
entertained?
you not entertained?
Yeah.
Right.
It's the same thing.
Is there no one else?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. They want you to oh, this is like Gladiator. They want you to think of it right away.
Right.
Yep.
Then
By the way, did you notice that half the cast of Braveheart is in this movie?
Brian Cox.
Brian Cox.
Who else?
His brother in the movie is
Oh yes,
Yeah.
Brendan Gleeson.
is Seamus. Hamish.
Hamish.
The Trojan military general, their commander, is his father from Braveheart.
Oh
Is
shit.
Hamish's father. I think there's more too.
Yeah, you're right. There's a couple.
Yeah.
I didn't pick up on that, but you're right.
Cut to Sparta.
Cut to Sparta, the port of Sparta, and Gleason is there.
Yes.
Brendan Gleason, monk,
Celebrating.
Yes.
the finest fighter in the 5 points.
Yes.
Eric Bana and Orlando Bloom.
Eric Bana's Hector?
Yeah,
Okay.
They're celebrating the union of Troy and Sparta, I
Yes.
believe, right?
it's a big
Alliance.
deal.
Huge
They're
deal.
having a feast.
Oh, yeah.
Troy is an independent kingdom, you said?
Yeah, it's across the sea.
All right.
Across the Aegean.
But they are not connected to the Greeks, really.
So the Iliad would have you believe that they kind of worship the same gods and they're very similar culturally. A lot of the archaeology will refute that, saying that they're more closer to the Hittites. They had been part of the Hittite Empire and speak a different language, probably worship some of the same gods, some other ones. In the Hittite culture and the stuff further east, like in Persia, Syria, women would have had a lot more opportunities and power for advancement than in the Greek culture. So it's somewhat, some believe that Helen was some sort of Spartan queen who on her own accord was like, there are more opportunities for me elsewhere in their world.
I'll be more free
Let me escape with these Trojan princes.
with these Trojan men.
Yes. Not just Paris
Yeah.
being,
A coxman.
yeah.
So
Oh, he's a dog.
young, hunky Orlando Bloom comes and takes her up.
Is this pre-Legolas?
No.
It's pre-Pirates.
This is the year before Pirates, but post Legolas.
Okay.
Because the first Lord of the Rings, I believe, is 2001.
2001 or 2. Yeah, you're right. It's post that.
Fellowship is 2001.
Yeah.
December 2001.
Yeah.
So
this probably is like next thing.
yeah, he probably
He was like typecast, huh?
he
Yeah.
he has this run in the early like 2000s
Yeah.
of just being in every epic movie. He's only in epics.
And that's all he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
What was
like
that other like medieval movie he was in?
Kingdom of Heaven.
Kingdom of Heaven,
That's right.
right?
He's the star of Kingdom of Heaven.
He did
He
Lord
did
of
a
the
run,
Rings,
yeah.
Troy, Kingdom of Heaven,
Pirates.
Pirates, and like Elizabethtown.
I don't know what that is.
It's like a rom-com. That was like the end of the aughts.
And that was the end of him. We never saw him again.
I don't think he had to do anything again.
He like pops up
He had
here
a
and
good,
there, but
good
like,
run.
you know, he's not doing like as many epics and stuff.
He was
Right.
still in the Pirates movies, though. No, he's still like he was in.
He was
a
in
lot
the
of them.
5th one. He had like a cameo.
And he always plays himself.
Is he a good actor?
No.
Not even as Legolas?
No. He's not.
So he's just
my bow.
and my axe.
Does Legolas have any memorable stuff? Like other than his ridiculous fighting?
What
Well,
your
he's like-
LFIC? I'm taking the hobbits to Isengard. Oh no, he has one of the best lines.
He slides down the thing.
Exactly.
shield, yeah,
he's
he's
got
cool.
dumb CGI fighting.
I never thought I'd die side by side with an elf. What
What about
a friend?
side by side with a friend?
I
And that's
could
how
do
he
that.
delivers it.
Very typecast. You're right.
He stinks.
If Orlando, if you're listening, don't believe him. You're good. I like you. But you know what?
That way, if I ever meet a pirate, I can kill it.
I feel the same way
You did a
about.
pretty good impersonation.
Dude,
This,
yeah.
this is how he acts. Every movie is this.
I feel the same way about Cost. You yell at me for that.
Costner is
To
sacrificed.
get to Jerusalem, go west until you reach the sea. Then go until the men speak Italian, and then until they speak something else.
What is that from?
Kingdom of Heaven.
Is that the line?
Something close to that.
Okay. I did not remember that at all.
But we see that he is infatuated with a woman.
Helen of Troy. And
Helen
they
of
start
Troy.
fucking right away.
Listen,
Yes.
she's got a nice pair, and no man, no woman, or other can resist a nice pair. We have to admit that to ourselves as human beings.
I like
Good
pears.
chest,
They're
a good
tasty.
chest. You can't resist it. It's just
She's hot.
she's good looking. He's there.
She's really hot.
Goddamn. He fucks it up though. He-
So now,
big mistake.
yeah,
Brother.
he should just hit it and quit it.
They
So
were sleeping
have to
with each
tell you
other,
something,
like, all
brother.
week.
he takes her on a boat trip and then shows her to Eric Bana.
Yes.
And
he's pissed.
Eric Bana is pissed.
He gives her a pearl necklace, by the way. Did
Yeah,
you
he
guys notice
does.
that?
Yeah.
Eric Bana, by the way, is not good in this scene.
He's not?
I don't think this is. I like him in the rest of the movie. In this scene, I
When
think
they're
he's
sailing,
off.
right?
Yeah.
Sailing around that time is also utterly fucking terrifying. Sailing today is terrifying.
Sure.
Like that had to be It's like, how do you even navigate? You have a fucking compass.
They hug the shoreline a lot.
Yeah, I guess, right?
The Mycenaean Greeks were known to have like the most powerful navy at the time. So
Yeah.
they're good at seafaring. Them and the Phoenicians.
Phoenicians were traders.
That's
I
right.
have something to
Thank a
show.
Phoenician if you use the alphabet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yep. I learned that in the Epcot ball.
Really?
Yeah, they have like the history of the world ride.
That's
and you
cool.
go through the Spaceship Earth and they tell you about the Phoenicians.
Really?
Yeah. They invented papyrus.
Really? I thought that was Egyptian.
They like invented.
But who am I to argue with Disney?
Yeah, I'm probably butchering it, but I know they say like thank the Phoenicians for the alphabet.
Yeah.
Anyway, so pieces for the woman and the weak.
Yes.
Because Brendan Gleeson is
He's
pissed.
just a monster.
Oh, yeah.
He's a monster man.
Can you blame him?
No, he's right.
Yeah,
he's got righteous indignation.
Paris took his fucking.
Yeah.
Paris is so hateable.
Yeah.
He's completely wrong.
Yeah, he's naive and he's a child.
And
I'm
you're
in love
rooting
with
for
her.
Hector.
Yeah.
Like Hector just.
You feel so bad for Hector because he's just like, he's my fucking brother. I think.
What
has
can I
to,
do? My
yeah.
asshole brother is fucking
Yes.
stealing hot chicks.
Unhonorable piece of garbage.
I'm in love.
No, you're not. You just love the deep necking she does. She coined the term, brother. I need her.
So Brendan Gleeson is talking to Aggie, Brian Cox. I can't pronounce it. I'm never going to.
Sounds like an old lady.
I've been trying to say it for a week.
Sounds like
Call him
Ag-
Brian Cox.
All right.
Agnes. Aggie.
So Agnes Young is. So
How about Memnon?
Memnon?
You can,
I can't pronounce the Greek shit.
Agamemnon.
You know what I noticed about you?
What?
Listening back to old episodes. Sometimes
You listen to the show?
I do. Sometimes Brian drops the T out of words.
I have horrible pronunciation.
I don't know. Like you do this. Like you say like Manhattan. You'll say Manhattan.
Manhattan.
See?
Manhattan.
I never noticed he did this
yeah,
in
he
real
dropped
life,
the
but
T.
listening to the show, he does
Manhattan.
it sometimes.
Isn't that a New York thing though? T's become D's sometimes.
Yeah, it is a New York thing.
I don't know. The way Brian does it, it's a little odd. Listen for it, fans.
Say attic.
Yeah, say attic.
Attic.
You're thinking about it.
No, just attic.
Say Attica.
Attica.
Say it again.
Attica.
Keep saying it.
Attica. Attica. Attica.
No,
Say-
you chant it like you're in the movie.
Attica.
Say addicted.
Addicted. All right. So, pieces for the week. If Troy falls, Agamemnon. I can't pronounce his fucking name.
How do you pronounce it?
Agamemnon.
Say it slow. Let me try to.
Agamemnon.
Mem.
Mem.
Non.
Agamemnon.
Agamemnon. I can't do it. I just fucking.
Agamemnon.
I can't do it, dude. I can't say his fucking name.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, dude, I've been trying.
Say
for a week.
Agamemnon. Agamemnon.
Agamemnon.
Say Agamemnon.
Agamemnon.
Spell friend.
Nobody knows what that means.
I know. When I was a kid, I had a spelling test. I was like in the first grade, and I had to spell the word friend, and I kept spelling it F-R-E-N-D. I kept forgetting the I.
Stupid child.
And my dad was screaming at me to spell friend. And I would just go, F-R-I-E-M-D. Once I got it. F-R-I-E-M-D. And he spell it! F-R-I-E-M-D. Spell friend! F-R-I-E-M-D. And I did it about 1,000 times, and I've never misspelled it ever again. It's a true story.
Well, you know how to spell it.
I know how to spell it.
I need
Say
someone.
Agamemnon. I'm trying the same.
Aga.
Memnon.
Mem.
Non.
Non. Agamemnon.
He did it.
Agamemnon.
See, it works.
Agamemnon.
It works.
All right.
Thank your
Agamemnon.
dad for that.
Yeah.
All right, so Brian Cox wants to get Troy because he will have access to the Aegean Sea.
Yeah, well, he has that.
But I
He
thought
just
that
wants control of everything. He wants the world.
Yeah.
I thought the thing is that would really like help him. Like he would have more power.
Control of the sea is always going to be a good
Yeah, he wants their acumen. He wants to add
They're
their wealth
controlling
to his
trade and resources,
own. He
war routes.
he's just a conqueror,
Yeah.
Okay.
and he's looking for an excuse to go to war with them anyway. So this is perfect for him.
So now we see Brad Pitt training.
Yeah. He throws a spear.
He's fighting with his cousin, Patroclus.
Yeah. And he throws a spear and it almost hits the king and they have a good what if he hit the king by accident? What if he just missed like
Odysseus?
a little bit? And he just takes the king out.
Odysseus, the hero of
the Odyssey.
The Odyssey.
Yes.
Played by Sean Bean.
Another veteran of these types of movies.
Yep.
For Greece. Achilles, no. For me. He's also Trevelyan.
He's the best.
Everybody loves Sean Bean.
Yeah. But Alec Trevelyan is the best, specifically.
He's a good villain.
He's awesome. He's Lien's Cossack.
He is, yep.
You know what my favorite James Bond scene is? Completely has nothing to do with anything.
Okay.
Is in GoldenEye.
All right.
When he goes to meet Valentine and his girlfriend, his mistress, is singing Stand By Your
Minnie
Man.
Driver.
Yes, in the cowboy hat.
She's singing it horribly.
Yes.
It's a
so
fun
good.
scene.
It's so good. He's just a man.
Stand by your man.
Irina, take a hike.
I think Brosnan has a quip that she sounds like someone strangling
a cat. Yeah. That is my mistress.
So
So,
Achilles gets asked to join the battle against Troy.
well, before
Right.
that, the scenery is so beautiful.
Yeah.
It is.
It looks
really
gorgeous.
is. The whole movie looks great.
But particularly this scene of like Achilles, like where he lives, it's so gorgeous.
Yeah, he's on like top of a mountain
And-
having a sword fight.
And you
And-
see he's whooping his cousin's ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is one of the things that differs from the source material a little bit. So, from what I understand, Patroclus is older, and he is pretty much Achilles' equal,
Okay.
and that will come into play later on. We'll talk about it when we get there, but yeah, he's not so much of like this young protege. He's like his second in command, you know.
I guess for the emotional reasonings of the movie, it makes sense. But then he goes down to speak to his mother,
Yeah,
where
and
she gives him a seashell necklace, which is one of the most 2000 things ever. 2000 BC
you're right.
things ever.
It
No,
really
but like
was.
that's such like a 2000 surfer guy thing, right?
Yeah.
Like those seashell
Puka
necklaces.
dude?
Yeah.
yeah.
And Brad Pitt's rocking it. Like I said, this is like such an early 2000s movie. But he has a choice. He can stay home and have a family and life,
Right.
or he can leave and have glory and death.
And this is the important part of the Iliad. That's like a minor thing in this movie, but it's like the main crux of everything. Like he has this choice. He's going to fight and die, and he knows he will die, or he could leave at any time and live a fruitful, fulfilled life, but he will be forgotten. And it's making that decision that is like the drama.
rightfully
She
so.
is a goddess.
Well, yeah,
Her name is Thetis, and she is a sea nymph. She's like the goddess of water, and he is her son. His father is immortal, and this is probably the biggest narratively difference from the Iliad to the movie, other than the god shit, is that his father is still alive in
in the book.
in the poem, and that will come into play heavily in the climax. And that is like what is always that's the thing that he can do. He can leave and go live with his father, who is alive, and like be his son and be his
Have a normal life.
Have a normal life,
Yeah.
right? That's always a temptation.
Yeah.
In this, his father's dead, and his mother is like this weird woman hanging out in a lagoon. Is she a goddess? What do you think in the movie?
No, because Brad Pitt explicitly says many times there are no gods. It's all bullshit. He goes out of his way
Yeah.
to be sacrilegious.
You're right.
Yeah.
So she can't be a god.
Right.
The movie takes this nihilistic approach. Gods are bullshit.
Yeah, you're
I'm
right.
2000s and I'm angsty. If you have faith, you're a fucking sucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen to my Slipknot. So right after he has the choice, it's a cool shot. We see all the ships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A world war has started because of one young guy kidnapping a girl and just wants a girlfriend. That's why the world war starts.
Yeah.
Would either of you do that? If you knew a world war was going to start and you just like wanted a girl, would you be that selfish?
Oh, you're saying if I'm Paris?
If you're Paris, yeah.
What I want is more important than anything else at all times. So, fuck the world. I'm getting that sweet poon.
Yeah, I mean, she's clearly a beautiful woman. How about you? You doing it? You starting the war?
No.
For her?
Oh, I'm
For her.
animal high and mighty.
No.
I don't need to get the pussy to end the world.
There's other bitches.
That's why no one will remember your name.
Exactly.
I guess
That's
They're going to name a city after me. The city of love.
Yeah, that's true. Is it named? It probably is.
It probably is.
Yeah.
I think I'm on
You
Brian's
didn't make that
side.
connection?
I'm on Brian's side.
Yeah.
I'm a romantic at heart.
Yeah. All right. I guess I'm outvoted. We got to destroy all humanity to get it in.
It's just one city.
Yeah. But there's only like 10 cities out there.
It's a tenth of the world.
Yeah, it's one city, but it's a world war.
So Eric Bana warns his father about what's coming. That, like, basically your son had to do
You know
this.
who his father is, right? It's T. Lawrence
Yes.
himself.
Yes, you're right.
It's fucking Peter O'Toole.
Peter O'Toole.
They pulled him out of a coffin somewhere, and he adds a bit of gravitas.
He's so
to
good.
this. He's fantastic.
The scene that he has later on is genuinely great.
Yes.
And that
That's
was
the best scene in the movie.
That when I was watching it, that scene, that's when I was like, is that? Because I didn't put it.
Oh, you didn't know?
I didn't connect it until then because I was like, that's because I saw him really act.
Right.
You know, instead of just random old guy
Let
saying,
me put the coins on his eyes to pay the boatman.
yeah.
Well, that's the climax of the Iliad. You know that.
What?
That scene.
Yeah. yeah.
That's how it ends. It's in the tent. Yeah, so they kind of explain the situation.
And he's like, it's okay. She's beautiful.
Yeah, he's like, look,
I would have done the
Paris, you're
same
my
thing.
son.
I guess we're going to war.
They'll never get in here.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, we see the ships coming in, and Achilles just goes solo.
This is great.
He pulls a Leroy Jenkins.
Not so much solo. But
He has his
ship.
crew.
He has a crew.
Yeah.
He has the Myrmidons, which were.
The Marmadukes.
Can you explain the Myrmidons? Do you
They're
know?
just like elite dudes.
They're elite soldiers.
Yeah, they're the
just
best of the
brutal.
best.
Yep. That's like special forces going in first before the regular dudes go in.
His ship is out ahead of the rest of the fleet, and Ajax is very angry about this.
Yeah, well, he got left on the park bench trying to seduce the lady cop.
Hey, lady, you need some help, lady?
Of course he's mad. Hey,
Talk to all the girls
hey,
like this?
hey, this isn't funny anymore. Let me out of here.
Your nights in the park are over for a while. Yeah, Greeks are dying, and he's rowing. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
they're
Yep.
going hard.
So he hits the beach and just slaughters everybody.
They get pretty fucked up.
They lose some guys, but it doesn't
They're
really
getting hit
count
by
because
arrows. They're-
in movie world, they just get
Right.
replaced.
Yeah.
Their losses are not felt by
Now,
anyone.
as
No
we've-
one cares.
As
Yeah.
we've been through in a couple of movies, I like to point out the silliness of movie magic a lot of times. And there's one scene here where Achilles has a spear and he throws it. And it goes through this guy's head, through his skull, to the point where half the spear is sticking out the back.
It's an impossible throw.
Literally, the force required to do that would be shot out of a cannon.
But he's Brad Pitt.
But he's Achilles.
He's Achilles.
Yeah.
It's just when you think about him throwing the spear before it hits a tree and like the tip goes in, it goes through a guy's skull, both ends,
And now the helmet, right?
and the helmet,
Yeah.
which is just. He has a legit cannon for an arm, not just like a baseball cannon, like a legit fucking.
How come Troy
firearm.
didn't have a Navy? They really could have used one.
They wouldn't have had one that could stack up against the Mycenaes, though.
I mean, you could have slowed him down a little bit.
Not really.
No?
Nah, I don't think so. I think the better move would have been.
They were outnumbered anyway. You want to use your walls to defend, not hit them where they're strong. They have a strong navy. You don't want to fuck with it.
Naval combat of the era would have been just like crashing your ship into the other ship and
Bows
then
and
having
arrows.
a hand-to-hand fight.
Fire,
You know?
bows and arrows to set fire to like the masts
Right.
and stuff.
Like I don't even know if they invented the like the Romans had these triremes where they would have
Well, they would like ram.
iron. Definitely not. They would not have been using iron at this time, but it would have been bronze.
Bronze.
Like a ram, yeah, on the bow of the ship, so that when you crash into it, it puts a hole in.
Yeah, it's like a point, right? Like a
Yeah.
But we get so many slow-mo shots of like Brad Pitt's face looking beautiful in the sun as like like the battle's
As
going
he
on.
assaults the sun god's temple.
Yeah.
Now,
Apollo.
this was the first moment that confused me rewatching it, because the epic music that is playing for this scene, and you're kind of sitting there like, these are the bad guys, right? But it's so epic, you feel like it's the good guys.
That's the thing. There
know?
really isn't a good or bad
Right.
side. Everyone's kind of justified in what they're doing.
yeah.
But for the modern audience,
But
your
for the
bad
modern-
guy is
yes, the leader.
Agamemnon.
Right.
There you go. He's never going to forget that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Achilles, he assaults the temple. He desecrates the head of Apollo.
He cuts it off just to prove a fucking point.
Yeah.
And they show a massive dude who takes out 2 horses.
That's Ajax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He takes out 2 full-grown horses with the swing of his club.
That's what he does, bro.
It's utterly insane.
He was so the Ajax of the Iliad has been gifted with super strength by Poseidon.
Which is possible.
And great cleaning powers.
Yes.
Like you put that
Right.
down when you need your tub
it.
cleaned or your sink.
Which when you see that, you're kind of led to believe maybe there is a little bit of the god stuff going on here, because that's just so insane.
Well, instead of like having the gods explicitly do what they do, they just
Give
give
people
these people
superpowers.
superhuman power. Like Achilles
they don't even-
throws the magic spear.
They
Yeah,
don't even
yeah.
play it off
Yeah.
like they treat it like that's just normal shit.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's for the audience.
Yeah.
You know?
There's a lot of like nods to if you know the mythology throughout the movie. You know, like the Aeneid.
Yeah.
You know what the Aeneid is?
No. I know
Yeah.
what the lemonade is. It's delicious.
The Aeneid is
Pink or
another
regular?
epic poem that was written in Rome around the time of like, I guess like the early first century. Actually, I should say the late first century BC. So like Augustus Tiberius, that era. He was trying to give like Rome a new foundation myth, and he connected them to Troy.
Okay.
So you know that scene at the end? Paris gives the sword of Troy to the guy and
Yes.
sends him through the tunnel. The guy he gives it to is Aeneas. And Aeneas will lead his people
You know, I was going to ask you
out
that
of
at
the
the
city,
end.
and they go to Italy and become the Romans.
Hey, we making a pizza. That's your ancestor.
Right.
Eventually, those people would form Gucci.
You did not marry a monster, you marry a goose.
You married a Gucci. I'm sorry.
So
I
all the
can't
flaming
help
arrows are fucking awesome.
Yeah.
The battle is just so good, man.
It's great. The action here is awesome.
it. Remember when we were watching Braveheart and I was like, I wanted more arrows? Like, because
Yeah.
a couple of arrows I don't like. This gave me what I wanted. Just that
Yeah.
that archery, like,
This is
volley.
like a D-Day scene for the ancient world.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah,
cool.
it is.
It's the beach landing, and
He's
they're
doing
fighting.
jump stabs. He's fighting. The temple is awesome.
Right. And then Hector comes riding up with the cavalry.
Awesome scene.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hector is kicking ass,
Yeah.
and they go into the temple. They follow.
Achilles
They follow the
Achilles.
Myrmidons in, and the Myrmidons massacre them.
Yep.
They
And
get
leave-
slaughtered.
but they leave Hector alive.
They leave Hector, and I love
They
the
know he's a
conversation
prince.
between Hector and Achilles
Yeah.
because they almost know they're destined to fight against each other.
Yeah.
They're like, we're gonna go at some point, not right now.
today. It's too early in the day for killing
Kill
princes.
princes.
Yep.
Right. And is this when they capture Briseis?
That's
Yes.
about to happen.
Yeah.
And the girl has a conversation with Brad Pitt, like, you fucking pissed off Apollo. He's
Yeah.
gonna have
She's
his
a priestess.
Yeah. He's gonna have his revenge, Apollo. And Brad Pitt's like, no, the gods are bullshit, they're fake.
Yeah. They envy us.
And
Yeah.
oh, that's a good line.
Yeah.
But
But he protects her.
later
at first, right?
But Apollo's revenge we gotta talk about because Apollo is the sun god.
And in the Iliad, he sends a plague on the Greeks for this.
Yeah, skin cancer. It just took thousands of years for the ozone to erode and skin cancer to become more prevalent.
long game plague.
Yeah, he was playing a long game. So
yeah.
now Brad Pitt is talking with Agamemnon.
Right.
There you go.
And he's like, history remembers kings, not soldiers.
Your name will be written in the sand for the waves to wash away.
Some asshole in 2,000 years wouldn't even be able to pronounce your name.
So here, the next day after, like they have this landing, and there's a celebration. We took the beach. Great. In the Iliad, there's now a plague. Apollo puts a plague on the Greeks. And it's like causing havoc among them. And for some reason, I'm not sure what it is, Agamemnon takes Briseis from Achilles. Like, he's her spoils of war.
Okay.
She's his spoils of war. And he takes it from, like, to teach him a lesson for being a prick.
Yeah.
You were too cocky. I'm taking this.
Right. And this happens in the movie.
Very confusing scene.
Yeah. Right. And he does the sack of wine.
Yeah.
Sack of wine.
Sack of wine.
Makes no sense.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. Why are you protecting her?
Right.
You have
He
no
just likes her.
connection. You
Yeah.
just murdered
Right.
a bunch of
He's
bunch of
attracted to
people.
her.
Right.
Right.
But this is huge in the Iliad because it draws this wedge between Agamemnon and Achilles is in good with the gods. So he actually prays to Zeus to make the war turn against the Greeks in favor of the Trojans. And it's almost like Achilles is controlling everything.
So he's like controlling the war.
He's controlling the war. And he says, I'm going to sit out and let the Greeks get massacred until Agamemnon comes begging for me to come back.
Like in the movie.
Like in the movie.
Right.
But in the movie, it's like they have a next day battle, and Paris comes out to fight.
Brendan Gleeson.
Yeah. So you want to let's talk.
Yeah, and Orlando Bloom has the Sword of Troy.
Yeah.
He's
Priam
giving
gives
it
to him.
Where it's like, why didn't he give that to Hector? You know?
Well, this is Paris's fight, right? He made this happen.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody understands that it's not going to be the end of it, but he's got to redeem himself a little bit, have some honor.
Helen is trying to run away.
Yes.
Completely disloyal hoe.
Right off the bat.
Yeah. But she goes back. She gets pep talk by Hector's wife.
Hector's like
Hector is so likable.
Hector's the most likable
He's the
character.
hero.
Yeah. He's the
hero.
family man. He's just trying to do right by everybody.
If you guys needed me to die because you wanted to bang like a Helen-esque person, I'd probably die for you guys.
Thank
Just throwing
you.
it out there.
I appreciate that.
I hate his nobility.
Just throwing it out there.
It's all an act. It's just for the show.
Well, I'm on film now.
So we get the fight scene, which is awesome. Monk versus Legolas,
so
the
cool.
fight everybody wanted.
Yeah.
The helmet point of view, when you see like the little like peripheral views covered and you see that little drop, I very rarely do you see something that like that. I was like, wow, that's actually really cool.
It's cool.
Like,
And Orlando Bloom has nothing to offer him in the fight. He's just getting his ass beat.
kicked. Yeah.
And I love the scene of Monk screaming, "Is this what you left me for?"
Yeah.
And he's like whimpering to his brother Hector for help.
And I love Priam up on the wall. Fight him. Yeah.
Yeah, just
like
go,
disgusted by his shitty son.
just go die with honor at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah.
And then this matter is settled,
well,
presumably.
Nobody thinks that.
Yeah, I guess
You
you're
know,
right.
but have some fucking pride here, you know?
And then Hector just kills him.
Oh, he's gonna, yeah.
He's like,
gives
the
up. He
fight's
runs
over.
away.
Yeah.
Paris runs away.
He's like, the fight's over. Paris is a coward.
Yes.
Yep.
He's dishonored himself. But
Paris is like, I have made an ass of myself.
he needs Helen.
Like the Alec Baldwin
Alec
emailed
Baldwin yelling at his
voicemail
daughter.
to his daughter.
Yeah.
Helen is so powerful. She must be the best lay ever that his honor's gone to just run back.
How does she go back to him after this? I don't know. It's pathetic.
Orlando Bloom is just that hunky.
You've gone so far. What are you supposed to do? You just started a
guess,
massive
yeah.
war. What does it even matter at this point?
So Hector steps in and kills
Monk.
What,
Yep.
what is his name?
I don't know the character's name.
No, what is the actor's name?
Brendan Gleeson.
Brendan Gleeson.
And he slices his throat,
Yeah.
and he goes back, grabs
And
the sword of
Agamemnon's
Troy.
like, let's slip the dogs of war.
Yep.
And
Which he was going to do anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hector
But
fight.
he just watched his brother die, and I imagine he's kind of pissed off about
This
that.
is a cool fight scene.
Yes.
Awesome.
Like,
Awesome battle.
I want to point this out. Agamemnon was like using his brother and his predicament to go to war, and like, and it's played off kind of like, look at this dumbass, I'm going to use him. But I think they genuinely like each other.
He likes his brother,
of
but he's
course.
being opportunistic.
Yeah. Yeah, he does care about his brother.
He doesn't want his brother to die.
Right.
But he's more about serving his own needs. And I love the fight between Hector and Ajax.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
so insane.
This is great.
Ajax is just a superhero. Like, he's just this towering brutality that's just slaying everything in front of him.
And so is Hector.
And so is Hector.
Yeah.
But Hector has to put a lot of fucking damage to that guy to take him down.
Yeah.
Well, Ajax is huge.
And there's this big fight, and the Trojans kind of win.
They
win
win.
the day.
They hold
they win.
and
They
they
force
hold.
the Greeks back.
Because Achilles isn't there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I guess he's like their morale now.
Who?
Achilles. Yeah.
Well, he's just like when he fights, they know they're gonna win. He's unstoppable.
Right. Yeah.
They have an allegiance or not an allegiance, a ceasefire where they can
Pick up their
dead
enough slaughter for the
collection.
day.
Yeah.
And everybody goes back to their opposing sides.
And Achilles goes back to Briseis, Rose Byrne, who is gorgeous in this too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hot.
she's really
just as good.
She's not as hot as Helen, but she's hot.
She's classical beauty.
As
Classical
she shouldn't be. Yeah.
Right.
And a bunch of Greeks are getting ready to rape her.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. No
And-
quarrel with you,
And he
brothers.
fucks them up.
Brad Pitt just kicks all their asses
Fucks them
and
up.
takes her.
Yeah.
And he says, the gods envy us.
Yep. I'll tell you a secret. It touches my knee when soft. And then that happened. The gods envy him.
So then they fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hector is telling his father, let them just retreat. Let them go away. This is all going to end.
Mm-hmm.
And the father's like, no, we got to attack them in the dead of night.
Yes.
Once again, Hector's correct.
Hector is right every step of
Yep.
the way.
Is he? What?
For the most part. Yeah.
Does this go well?
He just wants
No,
to get Helen
Hector-
back.
I watched the movie 2 weeks ago.
Hector didn't want them to attack,
He
right?
wanted to get
Right, but
Helen
the
back.
augur was like, the augury guy was like, I saw an eagle with a snake.
Yeah, so we have to go.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, what are you doing? And they go in and they have the night attack. There's great balls of fire.
Yeah, there's flaming, exploding balls, which is like, okay. No.
And
But this is a Brian favorite. He loves fire traps.
It's a trap.
Shit.
Yes. This one isn't prepared, though. It just kind of happens.
yeah, it wasn't like they set the field in oil in advance. But now Achilles joins the fight and he's like doing well.
No, he doesn't.
Yep, he gets to Hector. And Hector kills Patricius or whatever his name is.
Oh, Patroclus.
Patroclus.
So, yeah. So, Patroclus.
It's not Achilles.
It's not Achilles. We think it is. Because
Yep.
he's wearing his
Yep.
armor.
Exactly.
So this is the big difference. Patroclus, Achilles is thinking about if he can have his cake and eat it too. He's like, I want the glory, but I also want to live. I don't want to die.
Yeah.
So he tries to cheat the gods. And he gives his armor to Patroclus and says, go fight in my stead, lead the Myrmidons, while he stays behind.
Oh, so Achilles in the book
gave it
is
to
like,
him.
whatever.
Yeah. And when Hector kills him, Hector takes the armor. Now he puts it on. This is
He did RPG shit. He killed
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
enemy.
Yeah.
He put
Took
it
the
on.
better armor. Yeah.
and this is the crux of the Iliad. It's the rage of Achilles, right? This drives him into a fucking wild frenzy of the tents. And he asks Zeus for new armor, and he's given golden armor. And it's like the visual representation of him forsaking the return home. He's staying, he's going to fight, he's
He
going
knows
to die.
it's time.
His fate.
This is his fate. He's accepted it. And that's when he goes out and fights Hector.
And in the movie, it's a little different.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
Yeah. We thought he was you, sir.
Yeah.
His ass was toned like an instrument.
He fully moved like you.
So Brad Pitt gets really fucking angry.
Yes.
Yes.
And, he's like, we got to deal with this shit. Orlando Bloom is training to be Legolas. He's, doing rehearsing. He's shooting a bow and arrow.
And they show them burning the bodies.
How are
which,
you guys with a bow and arrow?
I'm pretty good at 20 to 30 yards.
Yeah? What about you?
Steve and I were shooting the other day.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. And I was not good.
Well, he was using my bow. I'm a lefty, so I'm using.
Yeah. If I had a right-handed one, I'd be
He'd be
fucking
good.
Oh,
He'd
yeah.
be pretty good. Yeah. He wasn't bad using a lefty.
So you got regular Paris out there, huh, Steve? Because he's a good shot.
Yeah, I use a similar bow too. I use a
And you
recurve.
stole Ant's wife.
And I stole Ant's.
You took her.
He's shooting people's ankles. Yeah. So Patroclus dies.
They burn the body.
They take his body back. They give him a funeral.
Little morbid thought here. Do you think when they were doing that, there was like one or two guys like smelling the air, smelling burning meat, and been like, kind of smells good. Just meat burning. Do you think that happened?
I don't think burning dead bodies smells good.
Well, they're not like decomposing bodies.
He thinks it's like a nice roast.
Like a grill.
Like a grill.
So your average man wants. So Hector.
Is this the first time you ever saw the because this is for me, like the coins on the eyes thing?
No.
No, I had seen it
I've
before.
seen it a lot.
In other stuff. Yeah. That's that's Greek mythology.
You got to pay the ferryman.
Yes.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
get to the
Cross the
river
Styx. Yeah.
Grab your crucifix.
And a bunch of other religions do that too, I think. Like,
yeah. Well, it all stems from this, obviously.
Yeah.
But
The underworld, the Elysian fields.
so they all know Hector is going to have to fight Achilles, and he's all getting ready, and everyone in Troy is treating it like it's his funeral. You have no shot.
Yeah. And they all know.
They all know.
They're all saying goodbye.
They're all like, you're fucked, and they're all saying goodbye.
Yeah.
And he's telling his wife, like, when everything gets fucked,
Right.
go hide in here.
Right.
Like, escape this
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, he shows him the tunnel.
Which was
Yep.
also slightly confusing to me. Because the duel that happened before, where there was no honor and like it causes havoc, why would you go out and duel again? Why not just put a fucking arrow in the guy and end it there? Like
Hector
they're
has
invading.
honor.
bro.
I know, but they're invading.
He called him out. He walks up to the gates and he's screaming his name.
Hector!
And it's the most intimidating
It's
thing
so
ever.
cool. It's so
it's
cool.
awesome.
It's awesome. But one arrow just.
It wouldn't have worked. They got to hit him in the ankle.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
He's immortal.
If you're a good shot.
So they
Yeah.
go out and fight, and it's a pretty good fight. Hector is
But
respectable.
there's a couple.
it's
There's a
cool.
couple interesting words here that are said. There's no pacts between lions and men, and this is Hector is man. He is the family man. He's fighting
Yeah.
for something.
Yep.
Achilles is a rage monster.
Yeah.
He's the lion. He's the wild
beast.
beast.
I honor
And in-
your courage, King.
In the Iliad, he will be wearing that golden armor. Hector will be wearing his old armor, and it's like he's defeating himself.
Okay, the old,
right.
what he used to be.
What he used to be. Right. The other thing that's important is Hector asks for his body to be treated properly. They would offer the other guy funeral rites.
They do that in this.
In the
Yeah,
tent. In
right.
The tent.
He says, should we have funeral rites?
like, no.
No, fuck you.
Right.
Because I'm not going to
You
die.
won't have eyes tonight. You won't have ears tonight.
You won't have groins.
This fight kicks ass.
It's a good fight.
This is so cool. And it's so
I
tense.
feel so bad for Hector every time.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
tense. Yeah, every time.
And everybody's watching.
Yep.
This is one of the best sword fights I've ever seen in a movie.
It's really
Like,
good.
it's up there.
It's kicks ass.
And he does the cool jump move, and you're like, oh, that's a signature. But Hector beats it, and it's like, oh, shit. Like, they're so close.
And did you notice that the music in this scene is nothing but drums? There's no music.
Yeah.
It's just drums.
Dun, dun, dun,
It's
dun, dun, dun.
it's light, like, and then when there's action, it goes. Vroom, boom, 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 boom.
I didn't pick up on it, but that's awesome.
It's
I was really into the scene.
Well put together. It's so well put together.
But needless to say, Achilles wins.
He wins. And then he drags Hector's corpse around.
In front
which
of
I believe
his
is in the
people.
Iliad, too.
It is, and in the Iliad, it's like a
It's
prolonged,
brutal.
like
Yeah.
description of the abuse of his body.
Wow.
It's really bad.
Yeah, like he mutilates him and takes him and just dumps him behind his tent.
Yeah.
Now, Peter O'Toole sneaks out.
Yep.
Yeah, now it's night.
I admire your courage, King.
Right.
Now let me tell you a secret. It reaches my knee when soft.
Priam sneaks out and he meets Achilles in his tent.
And he goes, tonight you dine with me in Wadi Rum.
I'm the man who broke the bank in Monte Carlo.
Hello.
This scene is the final moment in the Iliad.
Okay.
Priam confronts him, and they kind of reach a common ground on Priam's sorrow for losing his son, and Achilles thinks of his father and how he will lose his son. And that's how, like, what they have in common.
Okay.
In this, It's really there's no real reason for Achilles.
I think just mutual respect.
Yeah.
And he's like, Priam's not a bad guy.
Right.
Again, I'm just a regular soldier fighting for this asshole king that I don't like.
They're both have this mutual. They're both in a predicament that neither of them started.
Exactly.
And they're mourning.
Support your troops.
Right.
He knows that Priam has his yellow ribbon outside on his oak tree. And he's like, you can have your son back.
And they have they show the parallel once more of similar traditions. Like they both bury and take care of the bodies the same exact way.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, they have a lot more in common than they do against each other.
They have this line, in the morning we'll still be enemies, but we can have respect.
Right.
And that's kind of sums the whole thing up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Then we go into the final end game.
This is the end.
Yeah.
Now, you said the Iliad ends in the tent.
Right.
So the horse, is that in the Iliad?
It's so we could sell condoms.
The rest of this is, from what I understand, some of it's in the Odyssey.
Okay.
Because now it actually becomes Odysseus' story.
Yes.
He comes up with the Trojan horse.
He takes over. And they show that in the thing.
Yeah.
He sees Sean Bean sees a soldier carving.
a horse, yeah.
And he's like,
And Sean Bean's still alive, which is amazing.
He makes it through the movie.
Yes.
But
Might be
he's
one of
got,
the only
he's
ones.
got,
He's got a long way to go.
he's got rough shit ahead.
But this might be one of the only ones.
Wouldn't that be a great sequel? Why did that never
that'd be so
happen?
cool.
You know?
Oh,
I think it
that
was Lord of the
would've been-
Rings.
Just a Sean Bean Odyssey.
Dude,
That would have been
that's
sick.
all I want now.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, he wasn't doing Lord of the Rings. What was he doing at that time?
I don't know. Game of Thrones start yet?
No.
Not yet.
No.
No, he was just doing a bunch of random shit.
Random
Yeah.
movies.
He's
That
being
would've been cool.
Sean Bean. He's being awesome.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah, some of it's in the Odyssey. Some of it is just oral tradition. I think the death of Achilles comes from just people,
Okay.
other things, you know. Yeah, so the Greeks can't penetrate the Trojan walls. They got to find a way.
Trojan, look, they're effective. They stop
That's right.
They're not going to let any guys get through.
Right. I remember when we talked about
Steve is like, I don't like Trojan. I only used Magnum because I got a big hog.
I didn't say it.
Remember when we talked
You
about
did.
mincemeat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were saying how it was probably the most successful bit of subterfuge ever.
Yeah.
I think this got a beat.
If it's true. If it actually happened. That's the problem.
This is more iconic.
Yeah.
Definitely more.
The
iconic.
other one, you need so much more shit to go right.
Right, yeah.
It's more that one is more impressive. This is 13th century dumbasses who, if they see a wooden horse, they'd be like, the gods left us this horse. You
The
know?
horse was Poseidon's symbol, and they felt that the Greeks had built this giant horse to grant them safe trip home. across.
Exactly. It's like they're 13th century idiots who fall for shit like that.
I like Paris is just burn it now.
Right.
it was
He's right. He's right.
And you in the audience are just "Yeah, you gotta burn it.
It would be like in World War II if the Allies went to France and left a giant wooden swastika as a gift to Hitler, and he's like, yeah, let's bring this back to Germany.
Well, it would be
What
a
a
giant
lucky
cross.
day.
It would just be a giant crucifix. It's like, oh yeah, but that's also kind of a harken back to what you were saying, where it's very anti-religious. The reason they took the horse in was because it
Their
was
religiosity.
religious.
Yeah.
And that's what did them in.
bites them in the
To bite
head.
him in the ass, which yeah.
You're right. It's 2004.
Yep.
Right.
So the gates open and it's game over.
Bad move. We all
They
know
bring
it's
the
coming.
horse in.
Yep.
They wait till night and they just fuck everything up.
burn
They open the
Everything
gates,
down.
and that's it. GG.
But we get a really cool scene.
Orlando Bloom stays behind and he's
Yep.
fighting.
He's fighting with his bow and arrow.
Right. This is his redemption. He gets to kill the great Achilles.
Yep.
Which is
And he hits him with 1,000,000 arrows.
but it's the one.
It's the one in the ankle, but
The heel.
he was
The
already
Achilles
already
heel.
dying from all those shots. And if you'll notice, at the end, Brad Pitt has all the arrows in him. Before he dies, he breaks off all the arrows in his chest.
Right.
And the only one you're left
Is the
seeing is the
heel.
one in the ankle.
Isn't it funny that they've taken all of the mythology out of this, but they still believe that? Well, why not just let him die normally if you're going to go that
Well, here's
route?
why. They're saying this is how the myth started.
Right.
He really got hit with all these arrows, but there was one in his leg which remained, and that's why that's interpreted through the years.
Because they found his body like
they
that.
found his body with the one arrow in him.
Right.
Which is cool. I like that.
Okay.
You know, like here's a really cool myth, but here's the real person behind it. You
And
know?
I think someone says at one point, death is only the beginning.
No, that's the Mummy.
No, that's been said before. Yeah, it's been carved in a lot of tombs as well. Like they would bury people alive.
Yeah,
and
because I wrote, did they just steal from the Mummy? So I'm pretty sure he says that death is only the beginning.
but and that's
And
that's
then
Troy.
Briseis just murders Agamemnon while he's like reveling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, he tries to collect her, right? He's like, we just burnt it. We took it. You're mine now, and
yeah.
she just puts a
So
dagger.
even he doesn't get what he wanted.
Right.
He doesn't
No.
get to rule
gets
or even the glory of destroying the city.
a nice dagger in the throat.
Right.
Well, did he die in the Odyssey?
No.
That's what I thought.
no,
He
it ended.
makes it home, and then his wife's lover kills him.
That's what I'm saying. They're doing that in this movie because they want you to see
Redemption.
the evil king warlord Bush
Right.
got punished.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the Iliad, Agamemnon is like a great fighter, and he's a hero, and like he's loved. He's not this piece of
Yeah,
shit.
and here he's an evil piece of
Right.
garbage.
Even though he's not that evil.
He's not. No,
You're supposed to hate him because,
I haven't touched her. He doesn't even rape the girl. Right?
no, he didn't.
real quick, I have this in my notes. Does Orlando Bloom have the most arrow kills in cinema history?
He's gotta.
He has to,
Oh,
right?
yeah, of course.
He has the 3 Lord of the Rings movies.
Just the first Lord
He's
of
got
the Rings.
Achilles.
And he got this.
Yeah.
But like even before Achilles, he's picking off people.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. But even in
That still only counts as one.
in Lord of the Rings, he kills like
An elephant.
hundreds and hundreds of fucking orc.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's Troy.
That's Troy.
Yeah.
That I love.
and then
I
the
loved
Aeneid.
it, man.
The Aeneas escapes with the sword.
Yeah, they go to start our people. I loved it, dude. I really loved it.
This movie kicks ass. This
Yeah.
movie's a fun watch, man.
Yeah.
It's good.
Oh, okay. All right. The drawing.
Oh boy, people can see it this time.
Yeah.
Should we get a close up?
Well, we have to explain it
Well, we'll
first.
take a picture and put it on
my-
the screen.
For those of you who are new, Brian he draws on his notes for every film we do a representation of the movie. Would that be a fair way to
Yeah, it's a
say
sketch
it?
of
Yeah.
the movie.
So what does he draw?
I know what it is. Like it's clearly the horse.
Yeah.
Clearly the Trojan
I
horse.
think that's the thing to
and
draw,
it's
right?
clearly.
Yeah.
I would assume the gates of the city.
Yes.
Right. I get it. What it actually looks like if I didn't watch Troy,
With no context.
with no context at all, is a check mark on the face of a blocked fat horse. You could definitely tell it's a horse, but it's staring at what could be its feeder, a swing set, or maybe just barn doors.
It's a hungry horse.
It's really hard to tell. Can you try to describe that out of context?
Okay.
If
you've ever seen like movies or shows that take place in like medieval Scandinavia,
Yes.
Yeah.
they'll take like racks and they'll put fish. They'll hang fish on the racks that they've
yes.
caught. And that's what I'm looking at here. We have the fish rack. I don't know if you can
No. We'll show it to this one. Here,
There you go.
I'll
There you
But
go.
we'll take a picture and we'll just
we'll
put
take
it
a
up.
picture. But I think it's really funny. Maybe I could get like a nice little.
You're off mic though, so
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
It'll automatically zoom, right?
So there's
It
the
might,
fish
I
rack.
don't know.
There's some kind of bird on it too, probably scavenging, and yeah, that's what we got. That is not a horse. I don't know how anyone sees that as a horse.
Oh, I thought it was clear.
No, it's got an.
It
angry
has a
face.
mane
Yeah.
ish.
I thought that was one of my better ones.
I thought even
If
out of context,
without
of
any
course.
context, I would have no fucking clue what that is.
Right, I think maybe I'm biased with the context too. Yeah, because there's definitely a check mark
Well, there's one last order of business, folks.
What's that?
rating.
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 What would you rate the movie?
Okay. I like this movie a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think taking the gods out of it, while it is interesting, hurts the movie. Hurts the story.
Okay. You don't think it makes it more palatable for modern audiences, though?
It does.
Because like the Clash of the Titans movie,
I'll say this: if I saw this, yeah. So if I saw this as a kid, and there were like CGI lightning bolts and things like that, I would have went, "This is shit. I'm not watching it," because I never saw Clash of the Titans. Like that was so. I have no interest in this. But then we have a realistic, epic classic movie. I'm all in. So yeah, I think it hurts the story, but it doesn't hurt the movie.
Okay.
Like character motivations are kind of off. Like Priam and Achilles don't really jive the way they should, I think. But other than that, this is a lot of fun. It's well acted, with the exception of Orlando Bloom, who sucks. It's a lot of fun. And it kicks ass. So you know what? And it looks great. Looks fucking great.
It's beautiful. Yep.
This is like the perfect balance of CGI and practical effects as far as visually.
Man, like
it's like
I love
this
style.
era.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
This
Yeah.
late
You're
90s,
right.
early 2000s.
It's so good. Like
It looks so much better.
The peak of civilization was like 2005, and I know like that. It's like I'm a senior in high school that year, so it's like I think that's the best.
All right.
But like everything was just so good then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So out of 10, 8.
Wow, that's high for you.
Yeah.
It's up there.
I give it an 8 as well. Or
Really?
a 4, yeah, if you're going by the 5-star
Oh, yeah,
method.
5, yeah.
I really, really enjoy this movie. It has everything you could want.
Yeah.
It's good action. The acting is mostly fine. The characters are all, you understand their motivations. The big battles, you don't get lost or confused.
Right.
It's beautiful. It's well directed. Like it's a really good, solid movie. It's worth watching.
I don't know why it isn't more like talked about.
I think that day and age like just went and people got sick of the sword and sandal shit.
That was
And they
Spider-Man
moved
2.
on. What?
2004.
2004 was
Spider-Man 2 was probably
Marvel.
the
That's
biggest-
probably why.
That was probably the biggest thing that year, right?
Marvel.
Oh,
was,
for sure.
Marvel was taken off. Superhero movies.
I mean,
became
superhero
a thing.
movies are already, they're already big at this point.
I think like maybe the Harry
Yeah.
Potters.
Harry Potter
Harry
was
Potters
out.
are coming
Uh-huh.
along. It's
Lot-
really
lot
just
around.
these movies had their day, and
Can we look
they're
up
long.
while I give my rating? Look up the winners that year of 2004. Who won like
Oh,
Best
like Best Picture
Picture
and
and stuff like that? Maybe we'll get a better description of what was
Yeah.
happening.
If I'm correct, off the top of my head,
I'll be very
Chicago?
impressed.
No, it's 02.
Chicago.
I believe it was Lord of the Rings.
Return of the King.
I believe 2004. Yeah.
What was
Let
it,
me
Two
check
Towers?
though. What did you think of?
Steve.
So this was my pick, and I gotta say I'm in agreement with you guys wholeheartedly. This movie looks beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's a movie that I feel if it was on TV, I'd watch it today, like without thinking
though
twice.
you
I'd be
just
like,
saw it.
even though I'd be like, yep, Troy's on, I'm watching this. Because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's
It
so
has-
much more fun than Gladiator. It's so much more watchable.
It's way more ingestible.
Yeah. The
Because-
Gladiator's like, all right, I'm sitting down and watching
Gladiator's great.
This is a blast.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And you know what? What I like about this too is the losses hurt, you know?
The individual.
The
like,
individual
the
loss,
heroes.
it's like, wow, this is a great. I gave it a 9 out of 10.
9.
I loved it, man.
Okay.
I would rewatch this any day of the week.
we're all up
We
there.
are Troy Respectus.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I think the reason why I did, like you said,
It's because we all love the band Full of Troy, the Screamo band. By the way, I was wrong.
What was
2004.
it?
So the 2004 Oscars were actually for 2003, which was Lord of the Rings. So it was actually the 2005 Oscars. It wasn't nominated for anything, Troy, except Best Costumes, and it lost to The Aviator.
Aviator.
The Best Picture that year was $1 Million Baby by Clint Eastwood.
Oh. Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
Is it good?
It's good, yeah.
That's like
What,
the
what
female,
were some
the boxer?
Yep.
some other notable?
Aviator, I
The
guess.
Aviator.
I never saw that.
It's a good movie.
Oh yeah. What was, what was it up
Ray,
against? Ray. Oh okay.
Ray,
There we go.
yeah.
Sideways.
Yeah, you're right. They were done with the sand stuff.
They were moving on.
Yep.
You know? I think after the year before where Return of the Kings wins, which is like one of the coolest movies to win, you know?
When was like it's got to be around this time, like letters from Iwo Jima and Flags of Our Fathers.
That's
and
like-
I think
I
that's
think
2007, right?
Yeah, it's
That's a little
later. It's
later.
like 07, 08.
okay.
That's it though, guys. You want to say bye?
Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you for watching. See you next time.
Yeah. Thank you for listening, and yeah.
Want to give a big thank you to Tell 'em Steve, Dave, Walt, letting us record down in the studio. We really appreciate it. We want to thank all of you guys for listening or watching. If you like the show, please leave a rating and review on iTunes or Spotify, wherever you're listening. If you're watching on YouTube, please smash that
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, I wanted to be douchey.
Can we?
You influence.
Can we have Ant be the one to say
Is this
that?
like an influencer dance?
Yeah.
I'm an influencer now.
Now you're on
Or
TikTok. Now you're a TikTok.
the thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, zoom.
Zoom.
Keep
Zoom
zooming.
away. Zoom away.
I got my Zoomer perm.
Yeah, you're fucking bussing, dude.
Can we please force Ant to say like and subscribe every time we sign out?
Yeah, can you say it?
Say like and subscribe.
Yeah, just like and subscribe. We got that thing where you can buy land in Scotland.
The lordship.
Yeah, the lordship. You buy a tree in Scotland. Now you're a lord. Hit that, smash that like button. Comment.
What? I know we're being pithy, but no, seriously, please. Please like and subscribe. Share if you like us. Tell people. Spread the word out. The more people that follow and listen, the more cool things we're going to be able to do. Interesting things.
Anyway, NordVPN. Ugh. I hate fucking YouTube ads.
No,
Shut up. We love them.
We like NordVPN. And if Shackleton, if you want to give
Yeah.
just from last episode.
Anyway, please share the word about the show. Leave a review or rating anywhere you go. If you want to talk to us about anything, you could send us an email, reviewinghistorypod@gmail.com.
Anything within reason.
We'll talk.
We'll talk.
Yeah.
I'll give it.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Reviewing History Pod, RView History Pod on Twitter. Follow me personally on all social media at Brian Rupert. Follow me on Letterboxd. I rank and review every single movie I watch, and I review all the movies in my personal life. Thank you all for joining us. We will see you next time.
Getting better.
Bye.
I am the P-Man!